Healing your emotional relationship with your parents is fundamental. It's key to having a great relationship in your love life. Hi, if you don't know me by now, my name is Andrea and I'm a love and relationship coach. In these series of videos, you'll see Nadine reflecting on our sessions together, and you'll see a real genuine snapshot of her experience. Nadine wanted to focus on her relationship with her dad and resolve those emotional issues. However, what came up today was some things that she hadn't quite resolved yet with her mum. So today we focused on looking at a particular event that was still quite stressful for Nadine, that each time she thought about it, something that happened, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so, it would still bring up a level of anxiety and even some resentment and some fear for her. So today we used the Work of Byron Katie, and I took Nadine back to an event that was still very stressful in Nadine's mind every time she would think about it. We dissected that event in very, very close detail so Nadine could really connect with what was really going on for her. What Nadine wanted also were some practical steps to move the relationship forward in a different way than what had gone on previously. So not only did we look at the emotional aspect that she had going on with her mum, we also worked on some practical, real steps that she could take to build a bridge between her and her mum so she could feel closer to her again, so she could reconnect with her mum in a very different way. Now, Nadine hadn't spent any time away from her mum in particularly, but emotionally she was distant, and so now she could reconnect back with her mum in a very different way, in the way that she really wanted. During this session, what also became very clear and apparent to Nadine was the expectation that she was placing on her mum. Her mum should be like this. Her mum should do this. If she loved me, she would do this. And we were able to work through that because some of these expectations were getting in the way of Nadine really connecting with her mum from a heart-centered, kind and relaxed and calm place. I asked Nadine to drop into what was really going on for her in that moment, in that situation that was still causing her stress and anxiety today. So we start off with a meditation as always, so Nadine can get connected with her feelings. She drops into her heart, softens her belly, really connects with her feelings and emotions, and then I took her back to this event that was still causing her stress and anxiety. And from this place where she feels safe and very relaxed and she feels very free to talk about whatever she needs to talk about, she could really connect with that situation again and really look at it in very fine detail. And when she did that, when she was connected with her true feelings and emotions at that time, she could see that what she was doing was projecting her anxiety and her anger and her frustration onto her mum. So when she could really see that, when she could see with much more clarity, with a freer mind, she could see that without that filter of she doesn't really like me, she thinks that I'm a bad egg or a bad apple or there's something wrong. When Nadine could take that away and see much more clearly what was really going on, she could see her mum in a very, very different way, in a completely new light. And from that place with new eyes, she could see what her mum was really doing in that situation. And when that happened, Nadine completely softened. Seeing her mum in new eyes was life-changing for her. It completely changed the relationship. It completely turned it around.
So follow-up video to do with things that came up with my mum. I'd specifically asked Andrea to have a few sessions that would focus on things to do with my dad, because there were lots of unresolved things within me to do with my dad. And very interestingly, one of those times, what was stronger, what was more suddenly, came up unexpectedly was stuff with my mum. And I wanted to spend time with my family. Like, I wanted to be welcome with them. After not speaking to my dad, it caused a little bit of a ripple among the family. I'd distanced myself, and nobody really knew like what was going on with me, or they kind of respected the fact that I needed some distance from them, and they didn't harangue me or anything. Like, I've been meeting up with my mum regularly and talking to my sisters and my brother and that kind of thing, but still far more distant than I was before, than I usually would be. And so I think it was that Andrea asked me, like, so what would be something you're anxious about to do with Christmas? Like, what's still sticky or messy or whatever for you? Like, and I that may have been the question, it may not have been, I can't remember now, but what then I said was, I'm a little bit worried about just, I've got this kind of middle child syndrome where I feel I'm like the bad apple, the bad egg, the disturber of the peace, the one who's kind of rebelling and kind of not going with the flow. And so I feel that I'm kind of the neurotic, mad, crazy one, and that's how like everyone sees me in my family. And to a certain extent, I'm okay with it, because I can understand why they would see me that way, because, I have behaved in a neurotic way in the past, and, that's to do with to do with my feelings around my body, that have been kind of obsessive, or like obsessive compulsive, perhaps, to do with how I look, and, also the fact that like emotionally I didn't know how to like channel my feelings in a healthy way, or express my like negative emotions in a way that like was that would communicate that I needed support, or I needed I just wasn't able to I don't know, I wasn't able to kind of I don't want to say like restrain myself, but I just had no awareness of how I was coming across. That's the thing. I just allowed myself to get like, whoa, like carried off in my like what I was believing, and just kind of it'd be like a snowballing effect, and I just I'd think, oh, this is going on, and then it would it'd just get worse and worse, and I wouldn't be able to slow it down or stop it, and everyone around would be like, whoa, she's off on one, so I understand why they would see me that way. But before the session, now I can talk about it, and I can like laugh and all that kind of thing, but before the session and during, I was very upset at the idea, I just didn't want that to be the case, for them to see me that way, and it made me sad. So we dealt with that. And in particular with my mum, I didn't want her to see me that way, and I felt like she didn't understand me, and she doesn't really know, and, she might not even really like me very much, and I don't know, it makes me sad, because I'm this crazy biscuit. So, so we kind of, we went into that little bit, and it was really nice, because what we did was to revisit this certain, event. I think it may have been hypnosis. Or just, may have just been the work, just kind of going into the details of what happened, how was I feeling at the time, and is it true? Is it true that what I was understanding about my mum's reaction, is that really what was going on? And then to challenge it, and to look at it differently, and to say, okay, maybe she was doing what she thought you needed. In fact, she was doing what she believed you needed, and she responded, and she did her absolute best with what she knew, and and think about it, did you feel better eventually? And, because I was believing that, she kind of didn't know, and that makes me sad, because I want her to know me and understand me and that kind of thing. But in fact, what I was missing about that was in fact she was doing the best thing that she knew how to do for me, and her intention was to help me and to calm me down or reassure me or whatever it is. And I just missed that at the time. I just felt like, oh, it's not what I would have expected. I had my kind of set idea about what it was she was supposed to do, and she didn't do that, so therefore she doesn't care, she doesn't know, she doesn't understand, that kind of thing. It's just to get rid of my very unrealistic expectations of others, and actually to see them how they are, and see this situation for what it really is, and to recognise the thing that I'd missed, which was that, I was unable to see at the time, but she really did a wonderful thing for me, and I wasn't able to appreciate it at the time because I was caught up in other things. So part of the build up to Christmas and spending time with my family and being welcome in my family again, after kind of having some distance, was to build some bridges and to get back in the family home and to feel that, like, okay, I'm different, I'm calm, I'm more mature, I've reflected a lot on what it is that how I prefer to be around you all, and what relationship I prefer to have with you. I've reflected on that very deeply, and now I'm going to show you in my actions. I'll demonstrate to you, rather than explain about all the kind of emotional process and all that kind of thing. I'll just demonstrate to you what it is that I want, which is to have a good relationship. So, to build the bridges, it was to my homework was to find ways to show my mum that I love her, and that I want I can think of things that I know she would like and do that, so to buy her something small, or for us to do something together, and so we did. So I asked her if she was free to meet up on Sunday, if she wanted to do anything on the day, and we went out for lunch, and we just had an amazing time, a better time than I think I've ever had with her one-on-one. I can't compare it to anything else. We met up at a restaurant that we as a family go to regularly, but it was just the two of us, and we had a nice little seat in the kind of the patio terrace area, and it was just so lovely. We chatted away and caught up, and we were laughing, and we were just kind of creating a bit of a ruckus, and everyone was looking at us, and we just didn't care. We were just having a great time, and she really she was just this wonderful, lovely mum that I appreciate, and I really enjoy spending time with her. So, that's just something that I'm so glad that happened. And so great. So that was one thing, for us to meet up, just the two of us, and to reconnect and catch up. And the other thing was for me to kind of reintegrate myself into the family home, by means of buying her something, and then bringing it over to the house, something that I know she'd like. It didn't have to be a big thing or whatever, but so I went over with a couple of things that I thought she'd like, and and she did. She was really happy, and really pleased, and again we just sat and chatted and had a good time. And so that was another big achievement, was for me to go back into the family home with everyone there, including my dad, including my mum, and all, which was something I was afraid to do, and that I felt like, oh, maybe I'm not welcome. So that was great in terms of just the build up to Christmas and getting involved. The other thing which I forgot, which was the first thing of all, in terms of, you know, like reconnecting and letting them know that I was looking forward to spending Christmas with them, was to send a Christmas card. So what I did was I just wrote down something specific to Mum that I love that she does at Christmas, you know, something that she makes that I absolutely love, and that I was looking forward to enjoying that with her, and I can't wait. And then something specific to my dad that I know he really loves to do with us all at Christmas, which I said, I can't wait for that. I'm really looking forward to that. So, you know, that's why I put in the card and sent it off to them. So these were the three things, you know, the card, the meeting up outside the home, but just, you know, to catch up with my mum. I'd had an opportunity to do that with my dad previously, and then to bring something over to the house. And after that, everything kind of just naturally seemed to fall into place. And I remember at the lunch when we met up, my mum asked me, like, so what will you be doing for Christmas? And I said, I'd love to spend it with you all, if that's you know, if that's okay. And she was like, yes, of course, that's wonderful. And that she was so happy to hear that I was, you know, that's what I wanted, because that's what she wanted. And really, you know, why wouldn't she? Of course, you know, it just kind of, but in my mind, it wasn't for sure that I would be welcome, and maybe for her, it wasn't for sure that I would want to spend time with them. So it was great just to be able to say it and not assume that, oh, she does or she doesn't or whatever, but just to really, yeah. So, yeah, so great, you know, that was lovely, and I ended up spending Christmas with my family. I had a wonderful time with them, you know, it was a really, really wonderful, just lots of laughing, lots of sitting around the table and just telling jokes and having a good time, and, you know, opening up the crackers and doing the charades, and like, we're just having loads of fun with it, playing a few games, listening to good music, eating good food, and, you know, watching films and going on a little walk, and all kinds of things. So it was just fantastic. It was wonderful. Really, really great. And it just flew by really quickly. And now it's, you know, the new year, and here we are, and all these amazing things that have gone on that I couldn't have anticipated. So, including this cold that seems to have been rapidly developing during the course of this video. So that's just fantastic, and that's what I really wanted, was to have a great Christmas with my family, and I did. And yeah, that's thanks to all of the you know, the steps that Andrea encouraged me to take, and encouraging me to really get in touch with what do I want, what's my ideal outcome, so I can put other things to one side, things that might get in the way of me getting ultimately what I would want. And to go with that, you know, to trust in that and go with that and believe in that, and not believe in the other things. Don't give them so much like attention and importance, and just to say, actually, no, what's more important is family and connection and good relationships, and for me to take responsibility for the other things for myself internally, and not to make that have anything to do with anyone else. So I'm really, really happy, that that's how things turned out.
So today was a very healing session for Nadine, and we looked at also not just the emotional work, we also looked at practical steps that she could take to move forward, to build the bridge that had been broken from her with regards to her mum. It was such a turning point for Nadine that it completely changed how she was relating with her mum. And it's something that she just couldn't find resolve around for a very long time, for many, many years. And Nadine wants to be close to her mum. She wants to feel a heart emotion, a heart connection with her, so she can move on in her life in a very different way. So with new eyes, with a new awareness, with clarity and understanding, she could connect more with her mum from from a much kinder place, from a much softer place, in the way that she wanted between them. And so by the end of the session, what this situation that caused her tremendous anxiety, tremendous pain and heartache, she could actually laugh about it, because she could see it completely differently, quite literally turned around.